Along the same place your heritage comes from, your Algonquin side. But I also have a Ganegahaga side, Ongwe side. And Ganegahaga, it means people of the place of the Flint. Now, my ancestors had occupied this region of Ottawa Hull. And what a band is, it's a group of families that hunt, trap, harvest, and fish in a geographical region. And this is the geographical region that my ancestors, my Ganegahaga side comes from. People of the place of the Flint. The Chaudière Falls was given the name Ganaja from my ancestors, and what that means, it means floating kettle. Because if you were to come up or down this river in a canoe back in the day, the mist from the falls resembled that of a steaming kettle. Therefore, this is why the name was given to the place. Anyways, today it's still called Chaudière Falls, and that means kettle. They have a big kettle downtown Ottawa for some reason, with a big tree on top of it. Anyways, in 1843, the remains that you're talking about was my ancestral burial ground. It was an ossuary. It was located where today's Museum of Civilization is. And this ossuary contained 20 or so skeletons, 2 wolf skulls. I am the Wolf Clan, and this is my Ganegahaga side. Now, I love you, Gilbert, and the Anishinaabe Nation of Kitigan-Zibi or Pigwaganan, wherever they are, and all the people around Mother Earth. I have respect for everybody, but I find it's really important that I speak up and speak the true history. I'm holding my eagle feather, I'm not going to lie, and I understand when a word leaves my mouth, I cannot get it back. So I'm not going to steer you wrong when I tell you about the history. In the early 1600s, the French had came up to my area. We had a fortified village in Torbolton, which is now called Kanata. Coincidentally, I don't think so. Anyways, the French had massacred my people. This is not a funny story. We had a fortified village. They burned it to the ground along with our food supplies. They massacred our women, children, and our warriors. Now, luckily, we escaped this massacre, some of us. But our main village was located on the island right across the river here. It's Hull, or Gatineau, you call it, but I don't know if many of you understand that Hull is an island. But this island, we had occupied since time immemorial, and hence this is why we call ourselves Ganegahaga, because the Chaudière Falls is the end of a bedrock, a limestone flint, and we quarried our flint there. We made arrowheads, tomahawks, skinning tools, everything that we made out of the flint stone, we quarried at the Chaudière Falls, okay? Now, in 1800, well, actually, again, in 1660, there was another attempt to massacre on our people here in the Chaudière Falls. This time it was led, the war party was led by Adam Desarmeaux. He arrived in Ville-Marie, Hochelaga, in 1659, and he led a war party up the Ottawa River to plunder our furs and massacre our people. Anyways, we got word of it this time, and we led our own war party down the river, and we met up with him in Hawkesbury, and we rendered him his fate. Anyways, the French had failed to annihilate us twice, but this time they sent the English up. March 7th, 1800, Philman Wright came up. He was a Tory. He was in Massachusetts, which is an Algonquin word, meaning big hill, little place. He led his war party up the frozen river to the island of Hull, or we called Skanaja, the original people of this region. Anyways, he brought his tools, his rules, his guns, and his laws, and we had no other option than to follow these rules. In 1843, they desecrated our ossuary. In 1870, when they took the very first comparative statement of bands and tribes across Canada, they list 66 of my family members in the township of Hull. On the same page, they list 113 in Kitigan-Zibi, okay, Desert River. Now, please, I'm almost finished. All right. I know I've been getting cut off. I've been going to ceremonies here in Ottawa since I was 12 years old, and it's never been a good time to share my story. But today is the day I'm sharing this story. Okay. In In 1870, they took the very first comparative statement of bands and tribes, but in the same year, they furnished us a disease of smallpox. Now I have the handwritten doctor's notes. His name was Dr. Malak. He's from Ottawa. He was paid $125 to furnish this disease to my ancestors here. Now a lot of us had died. What happened was our elders had died, and they took our children, and they raised us in the very first church in this region, the St. James Church downtown hall, right beside INAC. That church is now closed. Okay, but I have all the records and all my band members, all my aunties and uncles and grandparents and, you know, all my family, my band. Anyways, we had a reserve there, okay? Now,
passed it with Chief Teresa Spence. I did 43 years. And I've also been elevated to Grand Elder status in my community, so I go around. I've been told I have to use my name, Grand Elder, and I go around. I was just a young man, only 51, but it is that, from that essence, that is really killing us. It's the lack of understanding from where we're supposed to be coming from, the natural laws. If we become to understand, someone alluded to that a while ago, that if we don't even know the concept of honor, respect, how can we press forward? We have to, all of us here, come from that respect. Somebody talked about ceremonies. We have to go back to the ceremonies.